Hey, Shalom, Akim, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor as due to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai Bashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders, the apostles, the great millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Those in the gospel, broad lifting up the standard of Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. It's the Akim Mahalalia coming back with another lesson through the Spirit. Lord's will be edifying. It says $10 toothpaste. U.S. household goods makers face blowback on price hikes. Okay, which you're seeing is hyperinflation or inflation. Ever since this war in Ukraine has manifested itself between the Ukrainian government and the Russian government, prices have increased, okay? Mainly that of gas and household products. And like I said, inflation, okay, which soon to be hyperinflation, which when you look up that word inflation, it goes into pretty much the devaluing of a currency with goods and necessities becoming more expensive, okay? And this was all done by design, okay, to bring about where we are, because what needs to happen and what will happen is that this society will eventually collapse, and then they will have to bring in an MOTB, which we know what that is. Okay, so, hey, if this continue to go on and this war continues to manifest itself, then, hey, you can expect to see a collapse of the dollar any day. Lord's will that be the case. Okay, so this is an article that I saw. It's pretty lengthy. I'm not going to read it all. But nonetheless, it is corporate greed. It is capitalism. Okay, and the U.S. dollar is based on capitalism for the most part, because if you look at it, it was a debt note. Okay, greedy corporations and politicians and Esau being greedy. And this is what it led to. The consumers, which is the people, paying extravagant prices, man, for weak and cheap products, man. Okay, so it says Colgate Palmolive CEO Neil Wallace, or Noel Wallace, Salakia, said last week at an industry conference that the household goods maker sees his new Optic White Pro Series toothpaste as the type of premium product vital to his ability to rise prices, which will help drive profit growth this year. Now, I was doing this lesson, but my phone cut off, so it didn't save. But I was reading that they made 50% profit last year. So my thing is, if they made a profit last year, why can't they stabilize the prices this year and keep them stagnant? But like I said, corporate greed, capitalism. All right. It says his remarks come when many consumer products companies are hiking prices as much as they can to offset their own rising costs, a trend that will continue due to the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, whose economic risks including driving up gasoline prices. Okay, which I witnessed that actually last week myself. Right when that war kicked off, I literally saw the prices increase with my own two eyes. No cap. But it says, as far as retailers and consumers seem largely unfazed by higher prices. But some lawmakers and consumer advocates argue that companies are excessively raising prices in order to fuel profits and return money to shareholders. And this is a quote: "We're seeing significantly price hikes on virtually every item consumer purchase," said the U.S. Representative David Cicilline, who was working on a proposed antitrust legislation aimed at bringing down prices. It says they're imposing real hardships and people are taking things out of their grocery carts because it's too expensive. Like, hey, the price of beef, the price of turkey, the price of certain foods, like a bag of drumsticks run you about $15-20, man. When, shit, a few years ago, a bag of drumsticks run you $4-5 at the most. Pretty cheap. Dark meat being pretty cheap. So just imagine how much a pack of chicken wings would cost. Things is getting out of hand, all right? And this is all due to the prophecies. But it says, in the past, major retailers such as Walmart and Corporation pushed back on price hikes. But now retailers like Walmart and Target has said on Tuesday in an earnings call that bumping up prices is the last lever it pulls when faced with increased costs. It says the U.S. Federal Trade Commission over the last 3 months has probably sky-high prices and supply chain disruptions, requiring companies, including Procter & Gamble and Kraft & Heinz & Company and Kroger Company and Walmart, to turn over internal documents on profit margins and pricing promotions. Okay. Yep. Matter of fact, let me jump down a little bit. It says, with an interview with Reuters, Cicilline cited Colgate as an example of a company touting price hikes, making basic items costly, and paying out more to investors. But Colgate expects its margins to widen this year due to higher prices, but it also brought back almost 50% more shares last year, a boon for investors, man. So like I said, capitalism, corporate greed, and really it's just prophecy, man. Okay, the collapsing of this dollar. Like I said, the war in Ukraine right now, that's the reason why shit is spiraling out of control. And it was really all due to the bankers setting up this U.S. dollar. Okay, because to be honest with you, the U.S. dollar is being backed by the military, man. That's why when every nation tries to supersede from the dollar and do their own thing, oftentimes they get invaded or they get hit with some type of natural, quote unquote, calamity. You know, all of a sudden a tsunami or some type of 9.8 on a Richter scale earthquake come and collapse their society type ordeal when they're thinking about getting away from this dollar. Because like I said, capitalism and corporate greed, man. Okay, and really America, just like the Roman Empire, is nothing more than a monarchy, which a monarchy goes into basically the 1% owning everything. And that's what we're seeing. Okay, and the consumers, once again, which is the people, we're going to pay the higher prices, which is going to lead to riots in the streets. Okay, bank runs are already transpiring. They're taking place, you know, because these banks and these governments are pretty much testing their digital currency now. Okay, because they know that this dollar is pretty much out of here. And we're seeing a collapse of the dollar as we speak, you know. And it says here, a Colgate spokesperson said in a statement that the company has a wide portfolio of products at different price points and touted its new $10 toothpaste as the first with 5% hydrogen peroxide and demonstrated efficacy to whiten teeth, which is all poison, okay? This shit is fluoride. Fluoride is pretty much a rat poison. Ain't no way in hell we should be putting this crap in our mouths. But like I said, hey, Babylon, the land of confusion. You know, this is the land of the punishment of the Israelites. So the scriptures say, hey, we should eat our bread defiled among the Gentile. You know, and thou should eat poison to live. So everything we do here is tainted. But consumer goods companies last year started hiking prices in response to rising raw material costs and labor shortages due to the such and such. But there's an incredible appetite for our products, said Katie Dennis, a spokeswoman for the Consumer Brand Association, a trade group for consumer packaged goods companies, including Colgate. It says, we make essentials and there's no option of not delivering. But prices also rose on competing private level items, analysis said. And while the White House is targeting the corporate profits as it grapples with inflation, it says Bharat Ramaturi, deputy director of the White House National Economic Council, said there are examples of companies outside of the meatpacking industry which has particularly been at the White House's crosshairs, increasing prices beyond their own climate costs. Like I said, everybody's trying to cash out because a collapse is inevitable. Okay, so matter of fact, let me do this. Inflation. Let me look up inflation real quick. We're going to look that up. All right, and it reads here. Inflation, the act of inflating something or the condition of being inflated. So you don't really give you straightforward definitions, but common sense, right? Is that the inflation of a balloon, the gross inflation salaries, a very brief exponential expansion of the universe, postulated, blah, blah, blah. No. General increase in prices and fall in the purchasing value of money. Okay? That's what it is. Okay? And this is what America is going through. This is part of Bible prophecy, man. Okay? And we're going to get it. All right? So this is the book of Genesis 47. This is during the time of the famine in Egypt when the money failed, you know. All right, so this is the book of Genesis 47, and I'm gonna start at 13. It says, and there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, said out the land of Egypt, and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. Right? Okay, and if you go into this word fainted, all right, it goes into indistinct, quiet, indefinite, ill-defined, obscure, impracticable, harsh, hardly noticeable, hardly detectable, unobtrusive, okay, muffled, stifled, feeble, slight, small, tiny, minimal, negligible, okay? That's what it means, meaning that, hey, that society was pretty much broken down as the trends that we're seeing now in the scriptures, man, and in this world where we're living in now, all right? Because the word fainted goes into the word laha, okay, which means to languish, to faint, to amaze, to startle, okay, to languish. Going back again, we already looked that up. Feeble, weak. All right. And this is the culture of the American economy. All right. But the people, they're blinded by bread and circus. They first 80-degree day outside. The people are really, you know, they're obstructed to do wickedness, man. Okay. But anyway, it says, and Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Canaan. And in the land of Canaan, for corn which they brought, and Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. And when money felleth in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread. For why should we die in thy presence? For the money felleth. And that's part of inflation. Inflation is basically the money felling. Okay, because the dollar is not being backed by precious metals. Okay, so the price of living is going to continue to go up while the wages of earning are going to remain stagnant. Okay, you're not going to see an increase in your wages, man. Okay, like this one guy, when I was getting my vehicle looked at yesterday for the billionth time, this one guy said that he moved from Fairbanks, Alaska, making 90 grand a year, and he came to Kansas City or the States, and he's basically making 50% less. Wait, 50, 60, 70, 80. He's making 50% less of a salary for the same type of work he did in Alaska, you know? So I'm like, why didn't you just stay up there? Then, you know, he broke down the schematics of it, et cetera, which is not important. But basically, man, that's the point. The price of living is going up, but yet the prices of inflation is going up, but yet the livable wages and so forth, we're not, you know, it's not increasing. You know, because let's say if you made $22 an hour, hey, that was a good salary back in the early 90s versus $22 an hour today may be equivalent to $13, $14 an hour. Okay. And you can't afford that when you have rent that's constantly going up, bills, okay, lights, gas, the increasing energy costs, especially due to the winter, due to this whole pandemic thing, you know. And eventually the shit is just going to boil over and people are going to get fed up and they're going to start finding you senators, man, and they're going to start doing shit to you. Because, hey, they're going to blame you for this mishap, which is really through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Hawashai, man. All right. So this is the book of 2nd Ezra 6, and I'm going to start at verses 22. It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses should be suddenly found empty. Right? Your stores, man, your goods. Because after a while, people ain't just going to be buying. They're going to be stealing shit. Like an article came out 2 days ago. Basically, Dabu was going into how people were literally going in these Walmarts and walking out, and they was advised not to stop the people because they said, look, man, you don't need any conflicts. We need to avoid any type of conflict at all costs. So instead, to, you know, rectify that, they basically started putting these cage packaging over the beef and so forth. Okay, however that's gonna work, I'm not sure. I haven't seen it yet with my own two eyes, but you know, they're going through preventative measures to try to stop thievery. But they're not going to stop that because the scriptures say they should not regard their kings nor princes, man. All right. And it says, and a trumpet should give a sound. And we're seeing the trumpet with this inflating cost, with this war. All right. The prophets have been blowing the trumpets for years. And it says, and with every man heareth, they should suddenly be afraid. And the people are afraid, man. That's why people are behaving erratically, man. You know, behaving erratically, you know. Being negative, being degradable, etc. These people are really losing their damn minds. Though they're trying to keep it together, they're losing it, man, because they don't see a foreseeable future in Babylon. Like it tells you that in the book of Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. Okay. And it says here, and at that time shall friends fight against one another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they should not run, right? Because this society is going to come to abrupt halt, man. Okay, everything is going to shut itself down through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Hawashai. And we've been warning Jake, man. We've been telling them to get right with the Most High, but they're not listening, you know. And it says here, and when the money felleth in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians, I read that already. It says, and Joseph said, give your cattle, and I will give for your cattle. And if money fell, and they bought their cattle unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses and for the flocks and for the cattle of the herds and for the asses, and fed them with bread for all the cattle of that year. So you see what they were doing? They was bartering, basically. Joseph got the livestock, which is very lucrative, and in exchange for livestock, he gave them the commodities they needed. Okay, and it's going to be kind of similar to how the government is going to ration out certain products, because eventually you're not going to get access to anything unless you got the MOTB. Okay. So this is the book of Ecclesiastes 12 and 1. It says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth. All right. While the evil days come not. And we're in the evil days now. Okay. The weather is all jacked up. We got 83 degrees. Tomorrow going to be 50. Saturday and Friday in the 70s. And then fucking Monday is going to goddamn snow, man. Like, ain't that some shit? And then it's going to go back up and drop. You know, that's all. That's them plagues that's hidden Babylon, man. Okay, and eventually them plagues are gonna wipe this place out in the form of the nuclear missiles. And it says here, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. And it says, and while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. Okay. And it says, in the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because there are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. Right. And if you look at the people's countenance now, they don't have any type of optimism for this place. Okay. The people are more in a pessimistic state of mind, meaning they don't see any future here. Okay. They're holding it together as an illusion, but overall, when they lose the little bit that they have, the people are going to start to bug out. They're going to start resorting to robbery, rape, murder, okay, stealing, okay, killing. And that's going to be the primary catalyst in Babylon the Great, man, as we've been telling Jake, man, okay? We've been warning Jake, and we've been telling him the ordeal. But yet, what do Jake do? They continue to scoff, they mock, they talk shit, they don't listen, you know. And then when shit hits the fan, and they're going to be running around asking why they have no assistance. Well, because you ain't taking heed, man. Okay? And it reads here, and it says, and a door should be shut in the streets, and the sound of the grinding is low, and he should rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music should be brought low. All right? Everything is failing. Okay? Sooner or later, mass evictions, like I think last year they did away with the eviction moratorium. Okay? Now they're able to evict people even in the midst of this whole thing. You know, like I said, it's a big money grab right now. Okay, and anybody that's not complying to the NWO, you're just going to be caught out there. Okay, which the men of the Lord, look, we're going to be straight, man. Okay, the Lord is going to provide for us in these dark days that's coming. Okay, he's going to provide for us and our families, man, if they be of the elect. Okay, and we got to keep that in mind. Got to keep that hope and that faith, man, because, you got demons and force that's plaguing brothers' minds, man. Like the brother in my camp under me, he just did a video titled, hey, man, you got to pray in this thing. And that's the truth, man. Because, if you don't pray, you feel like you're going insane. Okay, and even when you do pray, and two, brothers, be careful. When you pray, you ask the Lord to build you up. Sometimes you may feel like that. Sometimes your hell, in a lot of cases, will be a blessing in disguise, and you don't even realize it. You know, so you got to think about it from all angles. You know, you pray to the Lord, you constantly pray, and it's like your conditions are getting worse. You feel like your mind is getting worse, you're losing your mind. That can be the Lord actually building you up, man, tearing you down to build you up. Saying, okay, how well would he do if I take a little bit from him today and this week and kind of leave him out there? Let me see what he going to do. And the Lord just watch you the whole time. He's watching you struggle in the water. He's watching you. You look like you're going to drown, and you may drown, and he'll pick you back up and give you just enough breathing room. And before you know it, you've taught to tread water. You're on the level. Okay. And I believe that we're leveling up now, and you got to think of it that way, you know? So yeah, brothers, let's keep pushing, man. Let's keep going. All right. And it says here, and also when they should be afraid of that which is high, and fear should be in the way, the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper should be a burden, and the desire shall fail, because man go to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets, man. Okay. So, all praises and glory and honor that's due to you. How about Shemi, how Shai, about Shem, and with that, shalom and a barbal ball.